You know, I completely forgot that I was going to read these four things at the end, and so I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna have to edit this video, damn it. Because they gave us 400. 400! That's how I was able to accumulate extra. Because 400 from these personal files. Personal notes from the MC adjutant. So, allow me to read these. Silent Fragment, Enya. Every few days I go out on a mission and return with minor injuries. Usually nothing serious thanks to my enhanced physiology. However, my operatives didn't take it as lightly as I did. After each mission, once they got hold of my medical reports, they'd line up to check on me, all eager to offer their help, even though by the time they were done arguing, my wounds would have already begun to heal. Whenever the debate reached a stalemate, Enya would step in, her gentle but firm tone cutting through the chaos. How about you all leave the professional work to a professional like me? This time, I found myself captured by Enya again. When I woke up in bed, her careful attention had nearly restored me to full health. Since I had sleep shades on, she didn't realize I was awake. For reasons I couldn't quite place, I kept quiet, choosing instead to observe her silently. She was wearing her usual close-fitting white uniform, though technically it was more of a dress, one she had custom-made just for me, dubbing it her adjutant exclusive nursing outfit. According to her theory, wearing this while tending to me created a positive healing atmosphere that supposedly aided my recovery. Well, except for that one time her passionate movements caused my wound to reopen, which I suppose I could blame on that outfit. As she stood with her back to me, preparing medication and a simple breakfast on the small table beside the bed, sunlight streamed through the window, outlining her beautiful figure. I activated the zoom function on my glasses. I carefully examined her slightly turned profile that accentuated her mouth and neck. The delicate and almost transparent vellus hair on her supple skin. She reminded me of a ripe, juicy peach, radiating a subtle, alluring fragrance. One bite, and you'd know she was perfectly ready. Plump and juicy. Okay, in both personality and body, Enya exuded a maturity beyond her years. Suddenly, she turned around. Instinctively, I shut my eyes, hearing the soft click of her high heels as she approached the bed and sat down beside me. After realizing I was still hidden behind my shades, I boldly opened my eyes to watch her. She gently lifted the blanket and pulled up my shirt, her hands moving with care as she applied the ointment. Her breath was soft as she blew on the wound, as if trying to soothe any pain it might cause me. At that moment, I thought I was the one sneaking glances, but when I noticed her eyes lingering on my waist and hips, accompanied by the sound of a subtle, nervous swallow. Once she finished, she finally looked up, only to be met by my smiling face. Startled, she knocked over the tray of food beside the bed. Luckily, the desire I was hoping to satisfy right then wasn't that of my stomach. Notes by the adjutant. Bro. Alright. Alright, next. That was Enya. God. Next. Silent Fragment. Acacia. I've had my fair share of close encounters with Acacia, but this particular position was a first. She straddled my shoulders, her legs wrapped snugly around my chest. To keep her balance, she gripped the blue protrusions on the brim of my hat with determined force, striking a stance that made her look like a battle-ready pilot. This seemingly playful stunt was, in fact, part of a Mind Link exercise. It all started with the Star Master project. The success of the game's beta only fueled a certain developer's enthusiasm further. No longer content with the digital realm, she decided to build a real mech. What once had been a fleeting fantasy from her girlhood became a reality with the help of some Yggdrasil tech, and thus the Snowbreak Akuma was born. As for how the Akuma almost ruined our vacation, well, that's a story for another day. The creation of the Snowbreak Akuma kept Acacia satisfied for a while. But it didn't take long before I noticed her lost in thought, staring at the mech for hours and then eyeing me thoughtfully. When I finally asked her what was on her mind, she slowly revealed her thoughts. Turns out a mech that only functions on mechanical controls feels a little incomplete. In all the best stories, the pilot and mech share a much deeper connection, one that allows them to synchronize at the highest levels. But the only connection that would truly matter is one with the adjutant. Adjutant, starting today, let's work on achieving that kind of mind link. And so this is how I find myself in this rather absurd situation. She might have phrased it like a confession of love, but what followed was something else entirely. This mind-linking training seemed more like an exercise to indulge her bizarre fantasy of piloting the organic mech known as me. Under the rules of the training, she could only guide me through physical contact rather than voice commands. She'd press the insides of her thighs against my ears or lean her soft chest into the back of my head to steer me in different directions. When I didn't comply fast enough, she clamped her legs around my neck in punishment. In return, I grabbed her ankles, tickling the soft pink soles of her feet until she let out breathy yelps through gritted teeth. It was through these seemingly nonsensical games that I discovered a true and unique connection between us. It was because of me that she found a way to accept this strange new era. I'll forever hold on to these memories of her, just as I help her hold onto her own. Notes by the adjutant. Yeah, you know, yeah, it's still, yeah. Had some heat. I'd say Enya still had slightly more than Acacia's, but this one still has some heat. But these two, especially Mauser. Silent Fragment, Marion. To an outsider, it might have seemed like a siren luring her prey into the depths, but this beach was our private sanctuary, and my siren hadn't yet sung her fatal song. Still, the sight of her silhouette framed by the shimmering waves was more than enough to captivate me. We waded deeper, letting the water engulf us. Our special physiologies allowed us to swim beneath the surface for extended periods without the need for diving gear. But before I could take in the vibrant underwater world, Marion turned my head towards hers. Our noses nearly touching, her deep, wine-red eyes locking onto mine. Look at me. Man, just reading that alone. I like that. Okay. Her unspoken request was clear. A bird that soars in the skies could also become a fierce fish in the waves. The Hyris's usual composure was swept away by a surge of intense desire. Her restraint shattered with a kiss that consumed me entirely. Unleashing a torrent of emotion, the breathless sensation made each powerful stroke of her tail reverberate through me, stirring something deep within us both. Surrounded by swaying coral and darting fish, Marion staked her claim over me in this secluded realm. In her fearless embrace, I was swept into a mesmerizing riptide from which I could not escape. Yeah, had that heat. Especially this part right here. I felt it. What am I? Okay. Next! Silent Fragment Mauser. Cat petting guide. I'm so fucking done with this one. I'm so done with you, MC Adjutant. I'm fucking done with you. Cat petting guide. This guide is exclusively for Mauser. Mauser, my good little kitty. She's a human girl with distinct feline traits. As one of the smartest members of my team, Mauser often applies her boundless imagination to combat, exploration, and writing. Despite her academic prowess, when it comes to matters of the heart, she relies more on little tricks. To get my attention, she uses tactics like mental victories, tempting me with visions of a happy multi-cat household and bouts of playful pouting. It seems even overachievers can stumble when it comes to romance, behaving much like a mischievous house cat. She thinks she's cleverly hidden, but her restless rear always betrays her. Even when I catch on, she'll roll over and show her soft underbelly, trying to charm her way out of trouble. I have to admit, I fall for it every time. Which is why I've strayed so far from the topic of this cat petting guide to share random tidbits about her. But that's alright. This is for my own notes, not a public guidebook. And I'd never actually treat her like a pet, in truth. She's my adorable little lover. Wow. Mauser used to struggle with feeling physical sensations, but her sensitivity improved after her manifestation. Still, compared to others, she remains less reactive to external stimuli. After spending so much time together, I've identified a few special switches. 1. Mauser wears ear-like exoskeleton accessories that mimic animal ears. Oh, excuse me. Beyond their decorative function, these ears are equipped with a sensory system. When I pinch, rub, or gently flick her cat ears, she responds with quivering ears and half-closed eyelids. If she gets too comfortable, she'll grab my hand, pull it to her chest, and lick it. I heard Chenxing was inspired by this when she requested similar sensory tech in her new outfit. Okay, Chenxing. Yeah, I know exactly what the new outfit your Edgerton's referencing. Indeed, the tail response is equally effective. Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is. Number 2. After meals, Mauser loves having her soft, olive-toned belly rubbed. God. When she sits on my lap, the slight fullness around her navel feels especially nice to touch, because Mauser's upper body is, let's say, less pronounced. I sometimes cross that line accidentally. When that happens, the kitty gets silently flustered and sulks until I give her extra cuddles to make amends. Why you gotta detail her? My goodness. Mauser, number 3. Mauser dislikes wearing shoes indoors. Me too. Whenever I tell her she'll catch a chill, she playfully presses her bare feet against my chest, expecting me to warm them. I usually indulge her, but sometimes I'll tease her by drawing circles on her soles with a feather. She can't handle it for long and soon becomes adorably docile. Yeah, I bet. Oh my. Number 4. When I into Mausers, she will, as deeper into, I will keep until before her reactions gradually becoming, she can't help but and confess that she loves when I and will want to again with me. Oh. Every patch, the devs are getting closer and closer. They are getting closer, and I am all for it. I'm all for it. Number 5. Looks like the smart sensor had its way with that last part. I'll just store those details in my head. No, I wish I could have those details too. This guide will continue to evolve as my exploration deepens. Notes by the Adjutant. Yeah, bro. So detailed. And we get 400 out of these combined. Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, that was that. From mild to spicy.